Hi scrappy friends, welcome to my channel. I have a Shimmerz spread for you today and I am working in my Jean Davenport art journal. I absolutely love this thing. It's amazing. It has amazing watercolor papers. So what you're seeing me do is just take a little bit of distress ink because I got the new dioxides and I wanted to try them out a little bit. So I did a little bit of it on the background with nothing on the background, and then I'm just gonna spray it with some water. So you see me spray and blot because I'm hoping to get like some texture with having the water drops. I found once I started using the rest of my shimmers, or once I started using shimmer stuff, you couldn't even tell. So because I didn't want this color to come up, I added a primer, and I'm going to use absorbent ground. So this works really well for watercolors in particular. So it's a little bit more white than gesso is. So even white gesso I find is still pretty translucent, where this is a lot more opaque, but which is fine because I just wanted that that minty color to just kind of like peek through a little bit. And I want it to feel like winter. So I am going to be drawing or like creating like an evergreen branch leaf sprig thing. I should have had my terminology correct here, right? So I'm working on like the the wood part, and then I'm gonna go in and add the rest of it. And so I'm just using various colors of inklings and creamies that I have. I used Okie Dokie, and I think this one is like one of my brass or copper ones, and I think I add a little bit of gold to it as well, just to lighten it up and just to get some variations in it, because I want it to look like wood. So, and I mix, I think, a little bit of some other colors too. And so this palette right here has like a ton. It's pretty much all Shimmerz sprays. I am a big fan of using what you have, and um and not even using what I want have, so that I don't have to go out and buy other shimmer, like, or other watercolors or anything. But um I have these colors, and they're colors that I want to use. So I have a ton of different shades of green, and so I'm going to use these because they're the colors that I wanted to use. So instead of going out and just buying a color, if I already have another color in a different form, I will see if I can use it. I mean, that being said, I do like to have different colors of different products, but the amazing thing about these sprays is that you can do what you want with it. You just want to make sure, if you're going to put it in a palette like this, that you roll it really well, so that the shimmer doesn't all sink to the bottom. And then when you go to use it in the palette, you do want to stir it too, because the shimmers will go down to the bottom, and where you'll end up with a little palette cup of like really concentrated shimmers, which looks awesome. So this color right here that I'm about to use is one of a newer ones for me, and it's in the Christmas collection kit that has it's velveteen green. It has that's the vibes, but it also has some inklings and some regular shimmers. And it's a gorgeous palette. So if you're looking for something Christmassy, it has this green. It has a green called Ivy and Holly, Holly and Ivy, which is similar to a mint. It's like a really dark mint. And then there also is a vibes called Snowstorm that's in it, and it's like a white. It's really pretty. It probably would look awesome on some black cardstock. I think I sprayed a little bit somewhere else one time, and it was really hard to see. So you definitely want to use the Snowstorm on something, well, if you want to see it. But so what I'm using is a bigger brush, and I'm just working through and creating different colors. Whenever you look at something in real life, especially in nature, usually you just don't see one color. You will see a mix of various similar colors. So when I'm doing my paintings and stuff like this, especially when I'm trying to mimic nature a little bit more than just playing around with fun colors, um, I really do try to kind of think about that and mix different colors. So I'm just going to put in some layers, and then I will end up going back, and I think I add some colors later too, just like similar colors to what I was using. But I do kind of try to let it sit a little bit. Here I'm taking out a lighter green. I think I'm going to mix two of the colors together. I think that's Keep Palms and Bamboo Leaf. I really love those two colors, but I kind of mix them together because I want something in between those two, because Keep Palm is super dark. It's a really beautiful. I really love it for a lot of different things. And Keep Palms is a coloring, so it doesn't have any shimmers in it. It's just the color. So it's really bright. It's really concentrated. That's what I absolutely love about these shimmers, is they're so concentrated, so you really can use them like this and get something really fun and beautiful, and if you really wanted to get some amazing work, if you let it sit in between each layer, you probably could get even better results. I'm kind of impatient, and this is more art journaling. I'm not trying to get it to be super particular, but I am trying to create something fun and nice too. So um, I took my palette knife and I just kind of ran and tried to make some lines. I find that sometimes when it's wet and you try to do some work like this with your palette knife and you just run it over the wet, it'll make some marks, and when it dries, it creates some really fun texture. So something that you didn't see me do that I was working on, I'm not sure where the footage is, so I lost some of the footage, but basically I used a stencil, a Tim Holtz stencil, and I put some gold, one of the Good as Gold, I think I used, and then I used a copper color, and I also used the Gold Mind of the Dazzlers. I think it's the Dazzlers, and I mixed those with some just regular modeling paste, and I got this really pretty coppery almost gold color, and so it dries a lot more matte because it has the um and it doesn't have as much, it doesn't show this shimmer as much, which is fine. And then I just went over top of it, and that was what you seen just in that video before. That was really quick, that apparently it didn't even record all of that. And one of the things that you didn't see me do also, and I'm really sad about, because I thought I recorded it, and I think what happened is I thought I hit record and I actually didn't. But I went through and I added some whitey tighty and some putting on the glitz, dazzlers and pasties, and not dazzlers. Whitey tighty is a texture, so it has like a sand grit to it, and it kind of looks like snow almost. And so I mixed some of that, and I used my palette knife pretty much for a lot of that, and I went on and I added it into the green parts, and I did it in really small thin layers. I find that when you do this kind of work, that it just works the best. And so I also added a lot of that to that stenciling work, so it almost looks like it's sitting on top of there and it's snow, and that's what I really wanted. So it absolutely turned out really good. And I just kind of went through, and I went through a few times and just tried to make it look like snow was bunching, but tried to make it look more natural. And so now you're seeing me add the ornaments. I feel like so much is happening so fast. Um, uh, so I made circles, and then I just added some pattern paper to some of them, and the one with the buffalo plaid, the dark buffalo plaid, so the black and white, that one, I just cut out just the full circle. The top teal buffalo plaid is just regular white cardstock, and then I like made it look like it was kind of dripping, though you can't see with his head in the way, the little that bird. He's so cute, isn't he? And so I just layered some stuff on those, and now I'm gonna work on the title and all of those ornaments, and you'll see these in the close-ups. I hand stitched elements on it. I didn't necessarily did the whole thing. The one with the trees on it, I actually ran through my sewing machine and stitched it first, and then I did the trees hand stitched, and then I layered those on. Now the tree ones, I just attached those with a tiny attacher onto the white circle, and all of these I made sure I used lots of wet tacky glue um, to adhere it to my art journal page. I will say that this is going to make my art journal page like really crazy thick, but I'm okay with that. If you are someone who doesn't like your art journals thick and crazy, I would suggest not adding paper layers or chipboard layers for that matter. And I did add some foam underneath some of them because I wanted them to stick better, and I did want them to kind of have more of a raised look. So like I said, now I'm working on the title, and I'm gonna title it, or put a sentiment, I guess I should say. It's not really a title, but it's gonna say Frolic and Play the Eskimo Way. And I know now that as I'm looking at this later, the Noel kind of looks like it's part of the title, and it's not. It's just one of the ornaments, but that's okay. I wanted to have some elements of red just to have some pops of color. And I did use that fine line bottle that has some acrytones in it. So I added in the navy and tartar, and acrytones are acrylic paint with a primer right in it. So it's like all ready to go. You don't even have to prime. It's really good for art journaling and stuff because you can kind of see through it a little, but if you keep adding layers, it gets really vibrant and bright. And so I let them dry, and then now I'm adding Thunderstorm with, that is a creamies, and it still has a lot of shimmer to it, and it's like a gray color. I wanted it to look like the hardware on a bulb, an ornament bulb. So I thought it turned out really good. So I really absolutely love it. I love the look of having a title that has lots of different fonts and stuff. I just think that makes it nice and fun. Both the red and the white are Studio Calico, just the various forms. So they're kind of like more puffy and stuff like that. And then I'm adding these color cast pieces, which also just are really nice and fun and add something different so to my page. Like I said, if you're someone who doesn't like lots of stuff in an art journal page, don't do it. That's my own advice. Really, it's like this art journaling is one of those things that it just kind of becomes personal, and you got to find your own style. You got to find what works for you. And I really absolutely love playing with paper products and playing with really cute stuff. And so I like to add that kind of stuff to my art journals. It just makes me feel like I'm being a little bit more creative. So here are the close-ups, and you can see that with the fine line. And then I went in through that last bit where my head was in the way with a silver paint pen, and I just kind of did some highlights. The Noel ornaments, I added a string with that, and I think I might go back in and use the fine line bottle again to do some highlights with it because I feel like you can't see it enough. But I wanted it to look like I did, like there was a little string bow. I really love how this turned out. So I will make sure I have a link below to my blog so you can also just kind of see the photos for yourself if you would like to. And there'll be links to some of the products that I used so you can head to the store. And don't forget to go, when you're in the Shimmerz store, to make sure you mention me when you check out so you can get a free gift from Shimmerz. It's one of those awesome things that I can offer you as a design team member. So I hope that you guys have a great day, and I will see you later.